So principle of this experiment is that the subject contracts the flexors of the fingers continuously against resistance, and the work done is calculated. Now coming to the procedure of the experiment. So to understand the procedure of the experiment, first you have to understand the equipment, that is the Moses ergograph. And Moses ergograph which is used to record the ergogram. It has an arrangement for fixing the fingers and the forearm in the appropriate holders. A cord is passed over the pulley and that carries a load which is attached to the sliding plate, and this sliding plate is connected through a sling to the finger, that is the flexors of which is being steadied. The forearm is placed over the Moses ergograph, which has clamps, and there are two tube-like structures into which the ring finger and the index finger are inserted, and to this middle finger a sling is attached, and that sling passes over a pulley, and that sling, at the other end of the sling, has a weight. This is the cardboard of Moses ergograph, and there are clamps. The forearm is placed here, and there are two tube-like structures into which the index finger and the ring finger are inserted, and there is a sling which is attached to the middle finger. And this sling passes over a pulley, and this other end of the sling bears some weight, and the person, after inserting the index finger and the ring finger into these two tubes, with the help of this sling, he moves the middle finger continuously, or contracts the flexor of the middle finger, so that this rope is lifting the weight. And as it is lifting the weight, this is attached to a righting lever. And this righting lever is attached to a sheet of paper, and as the finger is moving, this righting lever will record the contractions of the finger on this paper, and these contractions are taken, and the work done by the flexors of the fingers for this particular weight is calculated. So now you got an idea about the procedure, and after this you watch a just 5 minutes video of the procedure, how the arm is placed over the Moses ergograph and how the flexor of the finger is moved, so that the weight here is lifted, and as the weight is being lifted, the lever which is attached, the righting lever which is attached to this sheet of paper, that will move, and the paper also will move continuously, so that the contractions of this flexor of the finger is recorded over the sheet of paper, and through those contractions the work done is calculated. So you should ask the subject to continuously move the finger or contract the flexors until he gets fatigued. Then once the fatigue occurs, you ask the subject to rest for 15 minutes. And at this moment you try to encourage the subject or motivate the subject and ask the subject to continue the process of contracting of the flexors again with motivation. So again there will be some contractions. At first here when you are recording, as suppose this is the sheet of paper, here the contractions you have recorded, and slowly the person will get fatigued and the height of the contraction will decrease. Then you give rest for 15 minutes, you motivate the subject in the meantime, you encourage the subject, then again you ask the subject to move the flexor of the finger, then you will see the contractions, they have increased in height again because of the motivation and encouragement. Because as we already talked, motivation and encouragement, they stimulate the reward system of the brain and they improve the performance. So this shows that with motivation the performance is increasing. Now after this procedure is finished, again you ask the subject to rest for 15 minutes. And now you take the contractions with venous occlusion. That means you tie BP cuff to the arm and inflate the cuff up to pressure of 40 mm of mercury. For venous occlusion you inflate the cuff up to 40 mm of mercury, and now you ask the subject to again repeat the procedure. That means he has to contract the flexors of the fingers continuously with the weight hanging over the other end of the string, and this should be continued until the person gets fatigued again. Then again ask the subject to rest for 15 minutes, and now you have to obtain the ergogram for arterial occlusion or after arterial occlusion. Now we have done for venous occlusion, isn't it? After venous occlusion, then you can compare the recordings previous to venous occlusion and after venous occlusion. For example, this is the sheet of paper, and prior to venous occlusion, when there was no venous occlusion, the height of contractions will be here, and slowly it will get fatigued. Again you have encouraged the subject, motivated the subject, so the contractions have increased. And now you have given rest for 15 minutes, and again you have tied the BP cuff to the arm and inflated up to 40 mm of mercury, so that there will be venous occlusion. So with venous occlusion, the onset of fatigue will be early. So here you can see the contractions up to this distance. That was without venous occlusion. Now with venous occlusion, the onset of fatigue will be early. So you can see the contractions. With venous occlusion, the fatigue has occurred early. Then you give rest, again you give rest for 15 minutes, and now you do with arterial occlusion. So for arterial occlusion, you are supposed to tie the cuff and inflate the cuff up to 200 mm of mercury. And again you ask the subject to repeat the same procedure with cuff inflated up to 200 mm of mercury. Now you will see with venous occlusion, you could see that the fatigue has occurred very early when compared to without venous occlusion. Now with arterial occlusion, fatigue will occur even earlier. Now we will see why this fatigue is occurring earlier with venous occlusion and much earlier with arterial occlusion. And we will also see why there is increase in the performance again after fatigue. With motivation and encouragement, again there is increase in the performance. Here the prefrontal cortex, which is a part of the reward system in the brain, which on stimulation increases the bar pressing in experimental animals. It is possible that in human beings also encouragement stimulates the frontal lobe of the cortex, and which increases the activity in the motor cortex. Thus in turn stimulates the flexor muscles by increasing the activity in the corresponding motor neurons. So when you are encouraging the subject, the reward system is stimulated. That means that stimulates the frontal lobe of the cortex, which increases the activity in the motor cortex. That in turn stimulates the flexor muscles by increasing the activity in the corresponding motor neurons. Now we will see why there is decrease in the work done due to venous occlusion. So venous occlusion decreases the work done due to accumulation of metabolites in the muscle. The metabolites like lactic acid are removed from the tissues by the veins. So when the veins are occluded, so there will be no drainage of metabolites. So the metabolites will get accumulated and thus they decrease the muscle performance. And with arterial occlusion, arterial occlusion also decreases the work done because it prevents the supply of nutrients to the muscle. So see, with venous occlusion, what was happening? Due to improper drainage of the metabolites are getting accumulated and that is decreasing the performance. That is why there is onset of fatigue earlier compared to the fatigue without venous occlusion. Now with arterial occlusion, that is preventing the supply of nutrients to the muscles. Nutrients, especially oxygen, which are essential for metabolic oxidation in the tissues to provide energy. So since there are no nutrients, there is no oxygen, so there is no energy for the muscles to perform the work. So intact blood supply to the muscle is a minimum for its functioning. So blood supply is a minimum thing for the functioning of the muscles. So now you understood the procedure. If you see that video where the procedure is recorded, you will understand better. Here you are asking the subject to move the flexor of the finger continuously for a length of time until the subject cannot move the finger anymore. So here you can see the contractions and then slowly it is getting fatigued. Now you have encouraged the subject, you have motivated the subject. So again he is able to perform better. This was without any occlusion. Now here with venous occlusion, here you can see that the onset of fatigue is earlier compared to without occlusion. That is because of the accumulation of metabolites. Because of the venous occlusion, there is improper drainage of the metabolites, so the metabolites are accumulated, that is decreasing the performance. And in arterial occlusion, there is the onset of fatigue is much earlier compared to the venous occlusion. That is because of the decreased supply of nutrients or no supply of nutrients or oxygen, which is essential for the energy of the muscles to perform their work. So this is how in Moses ergograph the ability to perform is assessed. And with this you have to calculate the work done by the muscle for a particular weight. Now the aim is to calculate the work done. So work done is calculated as F into D, where this is the work done and F is the weight lifted and D is the total distance travelled. And this total distance travelled weight, you know, because you are fixing up some particular weight for that particular work. So you have to calculate the total distance traveled. For this you have to count the number of contractions for that particular weight into average height. So work done is calculated as F into D. F is the weight lifted, that is weight attached to the one side of the string, and D is the total distance travelled, and that is calculated as number of contractions into average height. Now we have to calculate number of contractions. You can count the contractions, isn't it? Whereas average, now we have to calculate the average height. Average height is calculated as area of triangle, that is half length into breadth, base into height, plus area of rectangle, which is length into breadth, divided by total length of base. So you just note down this formula. Work done is F into D, where F is the weight lifted, D is the total distance travelled, and that D is calculated by number of contractions into average height. Number of contractions, you can just count the contractions which are recorded on the paper. Then average height, it is calculated by area of the triangle plus area of rectangle divided by total length of the base. Now we will see where you will get this area of triangle and area of rectangle. I'll just write here, F is the weight lifted and D is the total distance travelled, and this total distance travelled is calculated as number of contractions into average height, and this average height A is calculated as area of triangle plus area of rectangle divided by total length of base. So here you can see the contractions. Now we have recorded some contractions with a particular weight. You have attached some weight, some amount of weight to the other side of the string, and you ask the subject to flex or to contract the flexor of the finger continuously, and you have recorded the number of contractions on a paper. So you will get the contractions in such a way. Slowly there will be onset of fatigue. So now this is the total length of the base, and here you can see one rectangle and one triangle. So we were talking about the area of the rectangle and triangle, isn't it? So this is the rectangle and this is the triangle, and these contractions you got for a particular weight. So whatever weight you have added, you have to substitute in this F place. Now this is the rectangle, and the base of the rectangle is A and base of the triangle is B, whereas this is the total length of the base. So area of the triangle, that is half into base into height. So you will get the area of the triangle plus area of the rectangle, length into breadth. So you have to calculate this area of the triangle and rectangle. You have to add these two and divide it with the total length of the base. So this is the aim of the experiment, to calculate the work done by the flexors of the fingers for some particular weight. So you have to substitute that weight which you have added in this F place, and total distance travelled, it is calculated by adding the or multiplying the number of contractions into average height. So you will get, if after doing all this calculation, you will get the average height, isn't it? So you have to count the number of contractions, total number of contractions up to the onset of fatigue. Starting from here, you have to calculate all the contractions up to the onset of fatigue. Then average height, you will get the average height after doing this calculation. So A into number of contractions will give the total distance travelled, and you have to multiply the total distance travelled with the weight you have added to the one side of the string, and thereby you will get the work done by the subject or by the flexors of the fingers for that particular weight. Hope you have understood the calculation. See, work done is F into D. F is the weight which you have added to one side of the pulley, which you have asked the subject to lift that weight. That means continuously contracting the flexor of the finger. And D is the total distance travelled. That means the number of contractions into average height. For the number of contractions, you have to count these contractions up to the starting from the beginning to the onset of fatigue. That will give the number of contractions, and you have to multiply that with the average height. Average height you will get by calculating the area of the rectangle plus area of the triangle divided by total length of the base. You will get the average height. So this way you have to calculate the work done. So after this, you just watch the video in which the procedure is shown, so that you will understand the Moses ergograph, the placement of the arm over the Moses ergograph, and the movement of the flexors of the fingers. And after watching this video, you answer these questions and submit your assignment. What is ergogram? You note down these questions, and after watching the video, you answer these questions and submit your assignment. And you have to submit before 12 p.m. Why does venous occlusion decrease the performance? What is the primary site of fatigue in human beings? So you answer these 3 questions and submit your assignment before 12 p.m. Thank you.